So shout to the Lord with joy. Who is this command for? All of the earth. Meaning every single person who has ever lived. This is your responsibility. For all of you sitting in this room, it is your responsibility to praise and worship God. And what that means is that God wants every single individual person to know him and worship him. And that also means that every person who has ever lived has the responsibility to worship him, to know him and to worship him. And something that's really cool is what God does is he gives every person that opportunity. You in this room, you have the opportunity to worship God. And you have the opportunity to know him deeply, right? And that is incredible. Somebody's phone's going off. That's crazy. It's a watch. What? I guess that's fair because my phone does the same thing. It never stops. Anyways, all right, you guys ready? So, first verse is a command for everyone in the whole world to publicly shout out praise to God, right? To not be ashamed to worship God. Nobody should be ashamed of their faith. What does verse 2 says? Verse 2 says, worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him singing with joy. Ooh, this is really cool. So now we have our second command. To not just worship God and let our worship be visible, right? But to worship joyfully and with gladness or gladly. Is that a word, gladly? It's such a weird, that's a word, but it's a weird one. I agree. I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to say joyfully. All right? So 2 reasons why we should worship God joyfully. And there's a lot of reasons, but I'm just going to go over 2. The very first reason that when we worship God, we should do it joyfully is because God himself is joyful. God is joyful. Psalm chapter 16, verse 11 says, you will show me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore. So I think that's a different, that's the exact same version. I thought it was going to be a different version. So what we see here is we see that God is joyful. We see that in God's presence is the fullness of joy, right? And that's going to be an exciting thing. In this particular Psalm 16, the writer is talking about being with God, right? Like being in his presence and being filled with his joy, right? You feel a fullness of joy. And that sounds really awesome. To be so joyful that nothing could break away that joy. Nothing could impede or interfere with that joy, that fullness of it. So God is joyful. And what else is God? God is also the provider of joy. So as his followers, right? And in chapter 6, he tells this group of people